Hello and welcome to another episode of One Fall Rest. Tom and I have a lot of exciting things that we would like to discuss this week. John Cena was naked on TV yesterday. We're not really going to talk about John Cena's penis. However, he was on his interview with Chris Van Vliet, did go live this week. And it was an interesting hour and 24 minutes that I rather enjoyed, and I would like to discuss it. Al Snow had some very controversial things to say this week, and I can't wait to get Tom's reaction on that. And the road to WrestleMania continues to be paved in front of us. So many twists and turns, and I'm sure I can't be the only one that's enjoying themselves. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
What's up, bud?
Nothing. How you been?
Good, man. Real good. Hey, first of all, obviously we were off last week. We added some new extracurricular activities to the schedule on Monday, and I was just not prepared to be in all of the places that I needed to be in the time that I needed to be there. So that's on me. But
we can sort it out. We'll go back to Sundays.
It is what it is. I mean, we can do whatever we want. We're a two-man show these days, pal.
I was gonna say it's March. Where is he? He did say
I don't know.
March.
I sent him a shitty text message, and then I sent a shitty message in the group the group message as well, which
Sorry, I
has
didn't see that.
gone grossly unread. I mean, other than him sending something in on March 7th, which would have been what was that, 4 days ago? So that would have been Thursday.
Yeah. Well, we were getting haircuts.
Yeah. It was a screenshot of.
We look incredible, by the way. Just
hey, thank you. Thank you.
We look
so
great.
do you, sir.
We
do look great.
We look great.
But it's a screenshot of the Apple Podcast page of One Fall WrestleCast, and it says, "This is unacceptable. I need March." And I said, "No, what's unacceptable is the fact that you didn't even fucking try anymore." And I followed that up with I had shit to do, and those messages gone unread since then. So, it's all hope is lost at this point, pal. And that, you know what, I've come to terms with it.
Should maybe have a Derek memorial show. Just assume he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you we could put on a better one than AEW.
Oof. Yeah, you're right. We totally can. We can do the graphic and everything. We just need to take the WWE graphic and just do the graphic and put the worst picture of Derek we can find, which shouldn't be hard. None of them are that great. None of them are that good. And we just put him up there and be like, friend of the show, Derek Wright, 2019 to 2023.
Yeah, because I don't even think that he's been on a show in 24.
I don't think he has either.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, hey, Sting, last week, obviously, this is last week's news, and everybody's beat this to fucking back. And, I feel like we would not be doing ourselves a proper if we didn't discuss this, at least for a skosh, right?
Sure.
Sting's last match.
It was. I hated it. I don't know about you, but I thought it was garbage. And I mean, why was Sting's last match Outlaw Mud Show garbage match?
Because he wanted to jump off some shit. I mean, we watched him jump off of a section of seats in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I mean, I don't know why at this point you're surprised at that.
So it wasn't so much the Sting parts of him jumping off shit and him coming down from the rafters.
So you're just getting your Philipologist on because Darby went through a pane of glass.
Well, it's not so much that Darby went, and look, everybody went through a lot of panes of glass. All right, it wasn't just Darby going through a one pane of glass. There was lots of glass. Lots of people smashed glass. One of the biggest problems with this glass was that it was shattered into the audience. I don't know if you know this, but if you drink or you eat some broken glass, you die. Generally, I mean, maybe you don't die, but it's not the best thing to have flying into the crowd. You know what I mean? Like, especially during a pay-per-view, those people paid a lot for tickets. Tony Khan is a billionaire. It's just not the best idea to have real shattered glass flying into the crowd, whether it's
that was sugar glass, pal.
I hope so. It certainly wasn't the plexiglass that Kurt Angle threw Shane McMahon into twice during the early 2000s. Surely wasn't that, because it shattered.
Twice? It was like 5.
Yeah, you're right. It was. Shane should have died there. It's weird that he just like blew his knee out during like the least exciting move Shane McMahon's ever done in his lifetime. Blew his knee out trying to hop over the Miz. We've watched the guy jump like Shane McMahon should have broke every. I mean, maybe he did. I don't know. I'm sure Shane's suffered his own share of injuries, probably more than I have. That's for goddamn sure. And yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I didn't particularly enjoy the match. I don't know. It whatever. I guess it's whatever. It clearly drew the crowd. They were there in front of 16,000 people, which is probably the biggest crowd they'll be in front of this year.
No, they're going to London again, so they'll probably draw at least 80,000, I'd say.
I hope so. I hope for them that they can do that again. That'd be great.
Yeah. I just
the rest of that show. I mean, that whole show I felt like was abysmal. I don't know how much of it you watched, but it was, man. I think I really soured when FTR versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Wow. Was that? Wow, they did FTR so dirty. So dirty.
Well,
Do you know what the finish of that match was?
What's that?
The finish of that match was they both got tapped out in the middle of the ring, which is actually illegal. You can't do that in tag. Well, you're not supposed to be allowed to do that in tag team wrestling. But also, they were in North Carolina. They were in their hometown. They like that. That's like, I mean, they buried these guys. They tapped them both out in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, but wasn't the match scheduled to be a 2 out of 3 falls match?
It was not. It was one fall. The rules were relaxed.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah, because it was a Jon Moxley match. Jon Moxley sold nothing. He hopped up from the Shatter Machine. So, if you're FTR, if you thought Uzi Hot was a bad segment, maybe, having Jon Moxley pop up out of a Shatter Machine, and then both.
It's called Big Rig now, sir.
All right, whatever. And then both of you guys tapping out, whatever it's called. It didn't finish the match, and then both of you tapping out at home. So yeah, it was a solid burial of FTR. I don't know who they pissed off in the back, but solid burial.
Okay, let's calm down.
Very sour on the whole.
Well, you're just sour on the whole thing because, like, for whatever reason, this year, I'll even give you the better part of, like, the back half of last year. You've decided that Jon Moxley doesn't deserve your time or attention anymore.
Yeah, he deserves nobody's time or attention. If John Moxley disappeared from the earth tomorrow, AEW's ratings would not be hurt.
So
would not be hurt one skosh.
So what
One-
you're
one
telling
skosh.
me is you're not into sober John Moxley.
I'm not into not top guy John Moxley. I don't know what this is. This version of Mox is, but it's not a top guy. It's garbage. It's outlaw mud show garbage is what it is.
Ah, my God, bro! Like, did you get you got a heavy dose of Cornette this week? I'm assuming.
No, not really. I've been actually pretty busy thus far. I mean it's only Monday.
You're running that outlaw mud show bullshit into the fucking ground.
Buddy, this
We're not
was
even fucking 15 minutes in here, pal.
So to be fair, I guess that was a week ago. I'm no, I didn't listen to Cornette's review of that pay-per-view. I just watched it with my eyeballs and wished I had. I'm glad I didn't pay for it.
What am I going to do with you?
I mean, not let me watch AEW, maybe? I don't know.
I mean, did you watch any AEW this week?
Like, what did I watch? No, I didn't. After that pay-per-view.
After
that pay-per-view, I was done. I was done with them.
Wednesday was fantastic.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I
debuted a new set. It's almost like it's a pro wrestling television show.
Oh, really? Finally,
yeah.
after 5, it's only been 5 years. Now it's a pro wrestling show. Oh,
it felt very well produced on Wednesday night.
They must have hired Kevin Dunn.
I don't believe that they did. I believe that we're in the era of the what was her name? We talked about her a couple of weeks ago. The Jen chick. I believe.
Yeah, Jen.
She's gotten her claws into the product maybe a little bit there.
Well, that's good. Somebody's got to claw the shit out of this product because.
But you know what I find intriguing is that they brought back the tunnels and the Cody Vaders back, and the Bucks used it on Wednesday, which instant heat, right? Like, and they're kind of like playing this up like that they don't want to be sports entertainers, right? And just like the terror, like the bad acting is coming off very intentional, and it's actually working in their favor. So
okay,
the Bucks are doing big things, pal.
I mean, I didn't watch it, so I'll believe you. Let's. What were the ratings for last Wednesday's?
Hey man, that's a you thing. I don't worry too much about ratings and attendance. I skim over it probably once a month just to kind of be in the know. But the ratings and such, that's generally a Tom responsibility.
Oof. 779,000 viewers.
So I'm just out here living my best wrestling fandom life while you're just trying to poop in my Wheaties.
Well, look, man, they put on a poop pay-per-view and they paid for it with drop in ratings. They've dropped below 800K. They are now neck and neck with NXT yet again. So I guess we'll see. Show.
You just can't help yourself. I mean, you can't just give them one iota of credit.
Look, they put on a terrible pay-per-view that I watched. I wasted I actually only watched about 3 hours of it. It was 6 hours long. I watched about 3 hours of it. No, sir. Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo was good, though. I enjoyed that. That was a good one. I like that one.
I'm surprised that Deonna Purrazzo did not win.
I was too, but also kind of I don't know. Toni Storm's been doing good stuff, so it's really hard to like.
Well, now that she's got Mariah May dressed as her stunt double,
yeah, she's kind of doing her own thing, but also Mariah May is now
Damian Sandow,
Mizdow. Yeah. It's of all the things you're drinking wild turkey. I had some wild turkey.
No, sir.
That's what I thought.
This is the Traveler.
Okay.
It's a Chris Stapleton Buffalo Trace
Yeah.
collaboration thing. I don't know, it was like $40. It's good. It's not great, but it was worth the $40 price tag. I mean, for me at least, because it's cheap and it's a good little sipper, little 90 proof sipper.
That's the one you said smelled bad when you opened.
Yeah, but it's opened up a lot. As you can see, like I'm doing pretty good on it here, So I don't know. It's not a great bottle, but it's not a bad bottle.
Still a fan of the occasional bottle of Wild Turkey. I know it's.
Oh yeah. I definitely have gone quite a few months without having a Wild Turkey. I'm sorry, the kids are off tomorrow from school, and they are full on watching a movie upstairs, and my internet. My internet is a little.
Because it's choking your bandwidth out.
Yeah, because they're watching Disney Plus up there. So
Disney Plus is the biggest bandwidth hog too. It really is. Like it's the worst one. Like who for whatever reason, Hulu still is on like the whatever menial, like, hey, we're not shooting too much, or Netflix, same thing. But like when Disney Plus is on, it's like they want to push that 4K image, even if it's not a 4K TV, and they're just like, no, you're getting all the pixels, bro. And you're just, sometimes it's just like, yeah, too much. But anyway.
Yeah, so I'm just down here suffocating. So
pixels.
It is what it is. As long as my audio is coming through okay, I think that.
No, you're fine. Yeah, you've been okay.
Everybody will excuse my my pixelated, smushed face. So
you get a little, you got a little pixelated, but your audio sounds good.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's a win, and that's what matters. And yeah, man. So you missed out on Okada making his Dynamite debut. Huh?
I mean, I saw that he showed up, but okay.
Joined the Young Bucks as a member of the Elite. He's going to be the Uber heel in AEW now, and Tony Khan's real excited to make Okada a heel in the United States.
Well, I hope it works out for him. I mean, all they got, I feel like all their heels are getting cheered, their baby faces are getting booed. They need a solid top baby face.
Well, I believe that they tried to establish one on Wednesday night when they opened up Dynamite with Swerve Strickland.
Swerve's a babyface now.
And he cut a babyface promo.
Okay. I mean, I'm not into that. I'm
not either, but like, I don't know, man. Babyface Swerve takes like the devious piece of him away, I think.
Yeah, it takes the killer away. He can't be like a murderous. He can't be like, I don't know. He can't like kill people. He can't be that like just evil like that guy. There's a guy dancing behind him, and he can't just be that like focused like, attack dog who's gonna tear everybody's throat out. He can't be that. He can't be that guy who drinks Adam Page's blood. Who is that? Adam Page is a heel now, I think. Is that?
Yeah. I believe that's what they're trying to do, and surprisingly, Samoa Joe's title run's actually been pretty good.
When he's on TV, I feel like he was on TV leading up to that title run a lot, and that was great. And then he was on Collision a ton, and Collision was a real good show because it was like half Joe. But now we're like, we see Joe on one show, he gets one segment. It's like, let's Samoa Joe do some shit, man. Because I still love Samoa Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's doing some of his best work right now, I think.
I think he's doing great. That match was actually pretty good too. The Joe and Swerve and Hangman match. I'm not 100% sure why Hangman was there other than to eat the pin, but I'm not, if that leads to Joe and Swerve being a good thing, I'm fine with it. That was fine. That was good. I don't know. I didn't, I know there's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, these triple threat matches are garbage. But sometimes I feel like this one was fine. It was just like everything else around it really had me kind of on a sour note. Particularly that was like that like 6-man free for all bullshit. That was nonsense too.
Yeah, they replaced the Meat Madness.
Yeah, that match was nonsense. It was absolute nonsense. It was like nobody had any idea. Like Wardlow was like drinking a bottle of water, like hanging out on the side, waiting for his next spot. It was really kind of terrible. And like they put the camera on him whilst he's drinking the water. It was like, so I'm glad to hear that there's new production going on Wednesdays now, because whomever was in charge of production on Sunday or the Sunday before the last Wednesday, I hope that guy was fired. I hope he was tarred and feathered and left in North Carolina.
Kind of hard to fire the guy that pays everybody's paycheck, pal.
Well, a man can dream, can he?
I mean, apparently Tony Khan can snort an 8-ball up his nose in the beginning of a pay-per-view and just glide right on through the night. I mean,
he's good. Well, that's what it felt like. So a couple people knew how to get over, but most don't. So speaking of the man of the hour, whoa, there he is.
I really enjoy what's going on over there right now with that. I'm kind of into it. I think that we are going to see Roman and Rock win on night one.
I think they're going to pin Seth, actually.
And I think that The Rock is going to, in turn, cost Roman Reigns the championship on night 2 in the Bloodline Rules match, which I don't love, just simply because they have an out. Cody couldn't beat me straight up. Or maybe The Rock makes the pin, makes the count or something like that. I don't know. I don't know, but they've got me.
I mean, I think it opens up a lot of possibilities, particularly because The Rock being part of like the board now, and it's sort of like, I don't want to say he's back, but like he's around, like he's going to be around in a way that like we've not seen The Rock around in a decade.
Yes.
And if The Rock's going to show up, I'm more interested, especially if we're going to get heel Rock.
Yeah, but I think after Mania, heel Rock's going to go bye-bye.
Probably he doesn't like it. Clearly he doesn't like it. He's so good at it. He's so much better. Heel Rock is so much better until heel Rock is so good it gets over, and then he has to be a babyface. So I hope they do that. I hope he doesn't force it, because I feel like that force change is going to fuck up SummerSlam.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll see what happens.
Because I mean, that's definitely where we're headed with this. I mean, we're going to finish the story after 2 years, and I believe that we're going to finish the story after 2 years. I think that there's some internet pundits out there that would have us disagree with that. That Roman is going to continue to carry the championship through SummerSlam, because that's the Hulk Hogan mark, right? But there's a lot of folks that have kind of shut that shit down too, and it's like nobody fucking pays attention to that. Like, basement dwelling fucking supermarks pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of hard to not pay attention to it when they're constantly ramming it down our fucking throats.
I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with it, but it's like, I feel like at this point you got to put it back on Cody. Even if you put it back on Roman again, and they kind of they trade it a little bit, or like some shit happens where they're not together anymore, and Roman has another year-long title reign or whatever in some way, shape, or form. But I mean, I don't know. I guess it all kind of depends on a lot of like scheduling things and what have you as well. Because right now Cody's like the man of the hour. Like he's doing all the face stuff. He's doing all the press stuff. He's in front of the camera. He's doing all the being the closing the shows, talking to the fans, doing that stuff. Right? He's doing that championship run. He's being the guy that's got the company on his shoulders right now. So it makes sense to have the title on him at least for a little while. Do I think he needs a 6-year reign or 3-year reign? No, clearly not. But he needs to finish the story, and then we need to see how the babyface, because babyface title runs don't go. This isn't the early '80s. We can't just fly the American flag and be, real Americans and eat your Wheaties, take your vitamins, eat your Wheaties, and whatever. We can't just do that anymore. So I'm interested to see what happens with this. And I feel like Cody needs to win, but then Cody needs to be a good champion. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
gonna be that's gonna be sort of the like, well, the next step is that like, okay, Cody wins, finishes the story. That's a great close to the you know, and then we go off after the Empire Strikes Back and or after Return of the Jedi, and it's like, okay, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm picking up
exactly.
what you're now.
Exactly. So we need to see what happens after that. Does it go on and like do we tell another great story, or does it suck and we got to brush this under the rug and move on to something
Well,
else?
some people are already talking about the fact that this Roman and Rock thing, they're going to try to drag till 41. Like, people are already talking about the Bloodline continuing to tell a story without a title for another full calendar year.
I mean, I wouldn't hate that. Like, let me put that into perspective. I would not hate that. In fact, if it carries on a storyline, like a very like condensed storyline, but doesn't have a title involved, if it's family and the red necklace and all that stuff, I would prefer that over holding a title hostage per se. Clearly it's not hostage now. Roman's on every Friday, so is The Rock. So
I mean,
we are in prime wrestling season right now. Wrestling is, you got to watch Monday.
Well, we're in prime WWE season.
Right. We're in prime WWE season. You got to watch Monday. You got to watch Friday. Watching NXT is also preferable. And it's just, but
I don't know about Wednesday night was pretty good. I'm just saying.
I believe you. I didn't watch because of how sour I was about Sunday. So I was like, I don't care how they follow this up. Clearly, lots of other people didn't too because the ratings dropped. So I'm not the only one that feels this way.
I didn't say that you were, pal. Like, not at all. That's not what I'm driving at here. I just think you're sipping on some haterade this week, pal. That's all. And
I'm sipping on haterade because I spent 3 hours of my life watching garbage, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this because it's a pay-per-view, and I'm gonna try to enjoy it because there are things that I maybe ought to like that are like. I mean, I wanted to see Sting's last match, right? And I liked that Steamboat was there. I liked that Flair was there. I liked the whole pomp and circumstance that was given to it, and the match itself I hated. But it admittedly I didn't hate it as much as I hated a lot of the things leading up to it. So, man, I don't know. I still don't understand how AEW expects people to continue to pay for pay-per-views like this. Like, I realize it's like 6 hours of TV time, but God, 3.5, 4 hours of this shit is just straight up indie bullshit that belongs in middle school cafeterias, not on television on pay-per-view. It's really, really bad. It's really bad.
Like, why are you the way that you are, sir?
Because it's really, really bad. Like, look, if 4 of those 6 hours weren't really, really bad, I wouldn't be. But 4 of those 6 hours are really, really bad.
I mean, are they really, really bad because they're not your cup of tea, or are they really, really bad because they're really, really bad?
They're really, really bad. They're full of people who are not ready for TV. They've cold matches on pay-per-views that like have to hurriedly replace just other shit. It's just it's really terrible.
Tom, I just don't know what to do with you sometimes, especially when you start like knocking back this pints of haterade, right? And it's like, pull your head out of your ass, pal. All right,
buddy, I'm not the only one who's knocking back the pints of haterade here. It's just 5 years.
I'm just saying. Listen, and I tell you this with the utmost love and respect. I wouldn't I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't call you to the carpet every once in a while, okay? And like, buddy, it's not as bad as you're making it out to be. They're making moves, pal. Just because.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing that they've done that will be okay, because
successfully split up CJ Perry and Miro in real life.
Are we moving on to that?
No, I mean
2 seconds. 2 seconds, because I do want to talk about that, and we can move on that. But what they did is now the tag team titles are going to be up for grabs through a tournament,
and it'd probably be fantastic.
You're probably right. This will be the best reason for them to give cold matches and give it the sports treatment. And that's what they need to focus on. That's what they need to do, and that's what they're going to do. So they should do that, and they should do that with those. And AEW is about to get a little bit better because that's better. So hopefully that goes well. Hopefully there's 100 teams in it, and hopefully it goes really smoothly and has like 2 or 3 good matches every show about it, and we'll just go with that. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully that's good. I'm a wrestling fan. Clearly, I'm going to watch. I clearly have continued to watch despite shitting all over it. So hopefully that's good, and I'm excited to see that. But what they did at Revolution was not good. 4 of those 6 hours were bad television, were bad pay-per-view, and they need to figure this shit out, because it's starting to stink up the place, and they're losing ratings because of it. Like there are repercussions that is not just my opinion. I'm one man who has an opinion, but there are repercussions to this garbage bullshit, and it's showing. It's starting to show up. But let's talk about Miro and CJ Perry, because I saw that like literally 10 minutes before you came back. I was like, holy shit.
That's when I saw it too. Whenever I was dealing with my shitty situation.
You had a big poo-poo to poop.
Yeah, it was pooping.
All right, take your time.
I was pooping.
Nobody likes to rush a poop.
No, and I mean there
Well,
was.
I told you good luck.
There was some Roman Reigns-esque story build to that poop, and like I was coming for the payoff. I was in there for the payoff.
It was long-term storytelling.
Long-term storytelling at its finest in that bowel movement. So, but yeah, man, like I don't know. I saw it right before we come in here, and it's like I'm not surprised.
7 years. 7 years down the toilet.
I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not.
I mean, I don't know what to think. Like, from a wrestling fan perspective, neither of them have been very interesting for 4 years.
Well, Miro at least, since I mean the last interesting thing they did was the last interesting thing they had in WWE before they fell off the fucking face of the planet, and that was Happy Rusev Day.
Yeah. Miro's at TNT. This was pre Lana or CJ Perry. This is pre her. But Miro's first TNT title run was good. I feel like that was cool. And then I
really enjoyed him as the Redeemer. So that's not fair. They never let the legs get stretched all the way out on that.
They didn't, but at the same time, he was just he just wasn't there. Like, we never saw him.
We got hurt for a little while.
Well, I'm not saying he did anything bad. Like, there was nothing. Everything he did, I thought was pretty good. But he was either there sporadically, or he wasn't there at all for a whole year, maybe longer. I mean, I don't know what his contract entails, how much longer his contract is with AEW. I don't know if he's dissatisfied. I don't know if he was just hurt. Maybe he just doesn't want to work. I don't know what it is. Maybe he sucks. Maybe do you think he left
do you think he left a 1-star review on Tony Khan's Yelp?
Maybe he did that. Maybe they had a disagreement. I don't know. I have no idea what it is, but his run in AEW, I felt like it started really strong, and then just went
Game over.
Like it just went. Pew. I mean, it didn't start really strong. It started a little rocky, and then went, phew, and then went, pew, and died. And I don't know if maybe it's him, because now that's happened twice with him.
He died.
I don't know if it's his fault or what, but I mean, it ain't. He ain't doing good stuff now, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe maybe marriage has been in turmoil, and maybe that's part of the problem. So I don't know, but I hope to see, because I feel like he has a very high ceiling, right? Like he can be a top guy, but
Yeah.
he just spends most of his time in catering when he's not top guy. It doesn't make a whole ton of sense to me. Maybe he's just got enough personal issues that it doesn't really translate to being a great pro wrestling personality. I don't know.
He can come on back to the dark side. Let your hate out.
He probably will. Maybe he'll show up in the tank.
Let your hate out. Dude, the Redeemer under Triple H, that motherfucker got legs for days.
Sure.
That's got legs. He knows how to use them.
I feel like if you just give him time, and
yeah,
he's like, there's nothing he could totally be a mid card to main event type guy. Like he can be a Finn Balor, right? You could put him in the main event title picture anytime you want him to be there, but he can always be like a tag team champion or an intercontinental champion or a US champion at any time. And he could be that guy. And then you'd be, oh, hey, we need you in the main event title picture. You're going to fight Roman in Saudi Arabia. Great. Cool. You're going to fight Cody Rhodes in Saudi Arabia. You're going to kick the shit out. You're going to kick his head off like 4 times before you get to Saudi Arabia. And awesome. Right? Like, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Everybody would believe that. He's a believable guy. I don't know what the issue is that he keeps like having like really good spots and then falls off the face of the planet. I don't know what the problem is, because he can't dance. Is that his problem?
I mean,
speaking of a guy that can't dance, Daniel Garcia, good God. Still the least interesting man in the room.
Oh, come on now. Leave that man alone. He's over right now.
I mean, for being not interesting, I guess.
Like, do you wake up every morning and just decide that you're going to be this way? Or like,
oh, yeah.
Is it like a accumulation of events that happens all day long that just causes you to come in here and just...
Now I wake up and I taste a little of salt. I'm like, salty. And then that's where my that's just where my day goes. And then I give everybody the salt.
But not the salt of the earth.
No, we're not sure what's up with him. Nobody's heard hide nor hair of him for quite a while now, actually.
I mean, what's gonna happen? He just like shows up at a pay-per-view.
Who's pay-per-view?
I
mean that's the big question. Whose pay-per-view is he going to show up at?
Yeah, I think I kind of implied it.
Saying whose pay-per-views that show? I mean, I guess, are we talking pay-per-view or premium live event?
I don't know. That's left for your interpretation there, pal.
Similarly, I guess we're in a less interestingly, we're in a similar spot with Mercedes Moné or Sasha Banks, wherever she shows up.
Yes.
She sure has been hanging out with her WWE friends a lot lately.
Yes, she sure has.
But there's also maybe a Boston show kind of half named after her. I don't know. But then again, CM Punk's in WWE, although he tore his other tricep, but still.
Well, you know, pal, not everybody. I mean, not everybody's Sting. Okay, jumping off of shit at 63
Fair enough.
and
Not everybody's Sting.
64. You know,
I'm not sure
mean,
Sting was ever hurt in his career. I mean, he probably was, but I feel like Sting was a constant performer.
yes.
Hurt, dead, or otherwise.
I mean, other than whenever Seth Rollins knocked him stupid in like 18 or 16 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think it was 16. But yeah, other than that, you're right.
So,
that's probably Sting's. That's Sting's only real injury. I mean, to be fair to Bret Hart, his only real injury was when Goldberg kicked his head in the first row. But
allegedly,
I mean, there's a video of it.
Allegedly.
Okay.
How do you know? If I'm being honest with you, pal, right? Like, how do you know?
How do I know that Bret Hart got his head kicked off?
No. How do you know that, like, we're not living in a simulation right now, and like Bret Hart never got his head kicked off? I mean,
we're going red pill, blue pill here. This is the Matrix now. I don't want to say red pill, blue pill. Okay, I apologize. I was making a Matrix reference, not a. I need to clarify this for the internet audience. This is a Matrix reference, not a reference to.
That's all right. It's not like we have a video titled "Remove Donald Trump from the WWE Hall of Fame immediately." I mean, I think everybody knows where you stand, pal.
That's fine. I'm just saying that I'm making a Matrix reference, not a whatever they've mutated that red pill, blue pill rep. But still, Matrix reference. How are we?
All I know is the best thing that I've heard all fucking year about President Biden has been somebody calling him Weekend at Bernie's. I can't, like, come on.
Honestly, they both are. But yes, dude. I'm not here to be like Joe Biden's the best. No, Joe Biden's a 100-year-old man. Like, we need to like have somebody who's not 1,000 years old. But that's not what I'm talking about here, because the other guy's only like 3 years younger. It's really not like, it's not like, we'll get a slightly less old man. Like, he's always sucked though. Everybody sucks. It sucks. This sucks. I don't want to talk about politics. It sucks. We're not going to talk about that because wrestling doesn't suck, and that's what we're here to talk about.
I'm proud of you, pal. I really am.
For saying wrestling doesn't suck, or saying
no, just I'm proud of you for just high roading on out of there, bro. You know, like, I'm proud of you. You took the road less traveled. I'm proud of you. I really am.
That I like wrestling more than I like politics? I mean,
no,
that's a no-brainer.
I gave you a soft serve ice cream cone, and you decided that you wanted the scoop stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good. It's good.
I like to chew my ice cream because fuck.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Really am. Really am.
What else? What are we talking about?
Hey, listen. I got curveballs for days for you, because I know you've not been very active on the social media because, well, you don't fucking have it.
Can I talk about that for 10 seconds?
Just made my life a living fucking hell. So please.
Okay,
yes.
Look, hey, same. Because my Facebook profile is linked to my kids' Facebook Messenger profiles, which is really all I use it for. I don't actually post on Facebook. Anybody that follows me on Facebook, it's my friend on Facebook. I don't post shit on Facebook. No. Why? Because I don't care. Why would I? I don't need anybody to know anything unless I'm like, oh, hey, look, this is fun. This is a fun thing. I never find fun things. World is full of misery and torment. I never find fun things. But I love to talk to my friends because I love you guys. And that's what I use it for. Facebook is for friends, right? And I love to talk to my friends because I love my friends. You guys are fantastic. So what happened to me was some bot account tried to link their bot account to my Meta profile. Somehow, just in linking the bot account to my Meta profile, got the bot account banned and got my Facebook banned. Now I still have an Instagram. I don't understand. It's all the same. They're all linked together. But but there's nobody to talk to at Facebook. All of those emails go unread. There's nobody addressing the emails in Facebook. Nobody's there for that. There are no messages. There's nothing. There's nothing. So my Facebook is effectively dead. My Facebook that's been in existence since 2008, effectively dead. And quite frankly, I didn't miss it, which is another thing that I'm like, I didn't miss it. I miss talking to you guys, but I have talked to everybody. So if I create another one, it's going to be very small, and it's going to be like 10 people, and it's going to be those 10 people whom I talk to. And I'll probably do that this week because I don't think I'm getting it back. I had one more Hail Mary on Friday. On Sunday. One more Hail Mary through some backdoor Instagram stuff. I sent a couple of messages. We'll see what happens. But if I got nothing, I'm just going to make a burner Facebook account, and it's just going to be like my 10 friends. I'll figure out how to get my kids back on as well. And then I'm going to lock everything down, and I'm not going to allow any friends. I'm just going to be a locked up little profile of just
so that I can just share shit with you.
So if we're on our computers, if we're on our phones, we can just, because it's the best messenger service.
Because because the problem is, right, not only is it the best messenger service, it's like, but the problem with us and like our group chat, right, is I work all day and night, and then I'm awake for the entirety of the night. And Tom and Derek both work regular 9-to-5 jobs, and I just don't have that. So when I get home from work, I'm far more wired at 10, 11 o'clock. I caught myself doing this a couple of weeks ago with another friends group, right? I sent a link to a pair of fucking shoes at like 11:45, and it was like a Wednesday. It was like a Wednesday night, and I'm like, oh my God, fucking so sorry, right? Like, because that's dumb, but 11:45 is like my 8:45. So like I'm up late, so I know that Facebook Messenger is my safe space, and I can share all of my watch along thoughts and my the things that I find when I'm deep diving the internet, and I've not,
and I'm asleep. Yeah, it's great, and
I've
I'll
not
respond
known
to all of it, and you can look at it while you're at work, and that's that.
Yeah, and I've not known what to do with any of those thoughts for the last 2 weeks. So it's been difficult.
Well, I will fix it this week. I like I said, I have one more Hail Mary because it really is a 15-year-old account. I don't want to like just be like, fuck it. But especially because it's going to cause me like hours of turmoil, not only getting the kids set back up to like their friend group, but also re-adding all of their friends manually, because that's how that works. So we're a couple years deep into that too. So I got to find all those friends again. We got to, hey, this is still me. It's I got to send 10,000 messages. So it's really a pain in my ass.
Oh my God. Keep going.
Anyway, it's really a pain in my ass to have, to just redo it, basically. So I'm just hoping maybe they'll give it back. But if I don't have it back by Wednesday, I'll just set it back up. All right. What's going on?
I was gonna try to I was gonna try to put this on the screen, but like with the kids upstairs watching TV, that's just not gonna happen. So we're just gonna have to do it the terrible way here.
Who dat? Oh, what? No. No.
I mean, that's clearly it's not real, but like,
right? No. At first, I go, "Why is Cora Jade gonna get that?" And then like, oh no, that's not who that is.
So for the audio folks, I just showed on the camera that there was a meme on Facebook. How funny, we were just talking about it. That was the Warrior Award for the Hall of Fame class, and it was a picture of the young lady that's in the lawsuit with Vince McMahon right now.
Janelle Grant.
The fucking internet.
Say her name.
The fucking internet. Janelle Grant. There you go. I will say her name.
Thank you.
Since you're on that fucking, you're standing on that now. I see, huh? Like, Listen,
Did you see
listen.
my
There's
maniacal face?
there's been some developments
I
in
know.
the last hour or so.
You want to talk about those? Let's talk about those.
I don't know if you've been made privy. Let me go so that I can.
I've been privy to a sprinkle.
So I didn't read the complaint. I know you read the complaint top to
Sure
bottom,
did,
front
top
to
to
back,
bottom.
inside and out. And I kind of relied on you to do that. Because I would have not understood a lot of the legal jargon.
We're talking about one of the named executives who helped cover it up was Nick Khan. Is that what
Yes.
we're talking
Yes.
about?
There was in the complaint there was 4 corporate officials: number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And number 1 on that list that is unnamed in the complaint is Nick Khan.
Uh-huh.
And we learned that today. Why can't I find it? Like, it just happened a couple of hours ago. Like, why is
Because it may have been redacted. That's probably why. I haven't looked either, but I saw that, and the only name on that list of 4 that I recognized was Nick Khan. Or no, Stephanie McMahon too was on that
Stephanie
list.
McMahon was number 3, which I thought was real interesting. So, like, I started thumbing through it just a little bit, and um, essentially what the gist I got was that Nick Khan has been, situated as this corporate official number 1 because he knew, quote unquote, knew about what was happening with Janelle Grant and ensured that she had a high paying title that was unspecified, and what the person in this article that I wrote said was essentially McMahon's sex slave. So he kept her on the payroll to be Vince's sex slave, I guess, is what they're trying to say. And
Yeah, but it's all. I think it was also from like a non-serious source. It was like Wrestling News or what's one of the other ones? Like
one of those dirt sheets.
like WrestleMania or something. It was something that's like very like wrong half the time. So it's like it's hard to be like super serious about it. Did Nick Khan know the name Janelle Grant? Absolutely. At no point in time did Nick Khan, in coming on in 2018, not know the name Janelle Grant. He understood that she was somewhat important, an assistant, a special assistant, or whatever to Vince McMahon. She made whatever amount of money because he saw those checks go out. But also, he was told to leave it alone and not look into it. And I'm sure he probably did that because he is an executive, and this is how executives live. This is how executives work. There are plenty of people who are like, "Hey, this is my personal secretary," and that's the end of it. Okay, it's very Mad Men at the tippy top because that's just what people say. So, should Nick Khan and his due diligence have dug deeper and started a fire? Why the fuck would he do that? Why would he lie to himself?
Why would he do that? Why would he worry about what woman McMahon's pooping on, and why would he worry about what weird sex things that it's going on with Johnny Ace and I don't understand.
I mean, he probably. I would imagine his level of knowledge is incredibly limited, and they're trying to tie him in the same way that they try to tie in Bruce Pritchard, who Bruce is like, I see nothing, I hear nothing, I say not like, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. All right, I'm going to get lunch. Goodbye. Like, that's the level they keep Nick Khan as well.
Yeah.
Because had Nick Khan been privy to this, and had he known it was going to be the fire that it is, he absolutely would have shut it down. There's nothing in my knowledge of Nick Khan or the knowledge of what he knows and what he's done that like at the moment he would have noticed this was like a big PR disaster. Because let's face it, Nick Khan is not going to let PR disasters go swept under the rug. He is going to put them fires out and get rid of everybody and quash everything and pay all the bills. That's not what happened. Nick Khan didn't know enough to make all of that happen, and it didn't happen. So the fact that he heard the name, he knew the name Janelle Grant, she was probably a special something or other to Vince McMahon, and then he found that out. He found out that Vince McMahon pooped on her head the same way the rest of us did by reading the same article, and we went, "What the fuck,
Man?"
He said the same thing. He went, "What the fuck?"
Tom is just all about taking the road less traveled today. So hey, I didn't get a chance to like dive in on the Stephanie McMahon thing. How was she implicated as corporate official numero tres?
Just her name is in the article. That's it. However, from my perspective, I think that she probably had, she has an underlying knowledge of the nonsense her father is involved.
I mean, she there's no way that she doesn't know that her dad's a scumbag.
Right, exactly. She has clearly been avoiding him like he is the plague.
Well, I mean, she resigned from her CEO post when he forced himself back into power.
The second he came back, it was like 3 minutes later, Stephanie McMahon resigns. It was, look, out of loyalty for her father, does she not want to throw him in front of a bus? I can't fault anybody for that. But does she not want anything to do with him either? Yes, absolutely. There is nothing that has happened in the last half a decade that would lead me to believe otherwise.
I think it's fair. I really do. I really do. So
I don't think, not to get on a tangent, but I feel like there's like tiers of like culpability. And as far as I'm concerned, like Stephanie doesn't want to like throw her old man under the bus because she also doesn't want to know. Like, you didn't want to know what your parents were doing naked behind closed doors. Nobody does. Nobody wants to know that. But when they find out snippets, especially over a long period of time, they're like, they block it out. You black it out, and you don't want to know that. You don't want to know any of that, and you don't want to be involved in that. So did somebody try to tell Stephanie, and did she go, la, 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 no, we're not talking about this. We are not talking about this. Did that happen? Probably. But I can't fault her. I cannot fault her. Literally everybody that's ever met her, including myself, lovely, wonderful person. You're not going to convince me otherwise. I'm a little bit disgusted that she's named in this bullshit article, but it is what it is. And
you were just distracted by her corporate assets.
She was very nice to me, and she called me Thomas. Okay. I wish I still had my Triple H and Stephanie figures. I sold them because they were signed. Oh. She signed them. Hey, I got a sweet $200 that I put towards a guitar. Would have been great if I still had it though. Whatever, it's cool.
Tom, it's okay. You can admit that you were distracted by her corporate assets.
She was very nice to me.
They are very plump.
She was very nice to me, and I was 16 years old.
Okay, I'm right. It's fine. That's
fine. Look, I didn't disagree with you. She was very nice to me. I was 16 years old.
I'm sure she
was. Maybe I was 17. I was 17.
You were probably chin height, pal.
I was 17. I'm sorry.
I
was actually the same height that I am right now. Just way
just like this. Why, yes, Mrs. McMahon, that would be fantastic.
She was sitting and I was standing, and there was a table.
That would be fantastic.
Look, do you think 17-year-old me had that courage?
No.
Maybe 40-year-old me has that courage. But also, I ain't getting. That's just.
That's just waiting for a right hook from the game.
Yeah, and his arms are a lot bigger than mine. They're a lot bigger than yours. I don't
He's
want
got
to
a
write up from
pacemaker
him.
now. He's slow.
Yeah, but when I was 16, you imagine me getting punched by Triple H when you're 16. When we were 16 years old, Triple H was fucking. He was you and I put together, but like made of steel, not chicken wings.
Yeah, that part.
Cheeseburgers. Like we were that buddy. We were. Look, love Hooters wings. Still love. I wish we still had one, but it's where I was. It's where I was at 16.
Well, you know who else allegedly loves Hooters wings is Brock Lesnar, and
What a transition.
Brock Lesnar has been quietly added back to the active roster page on WWE.com.
Sure has.
And I mean, it's grossly gone unnoticed. I know that a few outlets have picked up on it, and a few outlets have talked about it. Dave talked about it, which I found to be rather interesting with what he had to say. He said something along the lines of, Brock doesn't really have anything, to do with this, that we can prove, and he just kind of does his thing, and he just shows up and he gets paid, and Brock, Brock, he just needs to be let go from.
Brock threatened Dave's life. I feel like that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, he was a stammering idiot more than usual this past week. So, I don't know, man. I was one of the people that thought that we were done with Brock Lesnar.
Apparently not.
No way.
Look, I'm happy. Look, I love Brock Lesnar. I'm very happy.
I just hope he gets his name cleared in all of this.
I do too, because and I feel like we're on the road to that. But I think also
hopefully
so here's my thinking in this is that Brock Lesnar was named and they went, look, you're still. I said this before. Triple H called him and said, look, you're still getting paid. Go home. I know that there's.
But what if he did though? Like, what if everything that's been said was true about Vince, about Brock, about Johnny Ace, about everybody? What if all of this?
But what if Brock's not? What if Brock was just being a dick? Because let's face it, Brock's a dick, right? Like we can agree that that's.
Yeah, but he asked he asked the girl to send him a video of her peeing. I mean,
maybe he was just. He was. I don't know. Look,
maybe it was Cain Velasquez after all.
Maybe it was Cain Velasquez after all. But I'm just saying.
Maybe they settled and like
we've seen a lot of. I'm just saying we've seen a lot of text messages, a lot of really like egregious. We've never seen those text messages. Is all I'm saying.
So maybe they settled out of court, and part of the settlement was that, like, Brock was always an unnamed UFC champion, whatever, former UFC champion. He's never been publicly named. We've all made assumptions that that's who it was. So maybe it was one of those things where, he settled out of court, and part of the settlement and the agreement was, hey, like, just keep my fucking name out your mouth, right? Like, and that's a possibility, because I do believe that at the end of the day that this is wholeheartedly 1,000,000% just about money. This doesn't have anything to do with finding closure or anything along that. This is a business deal gone awry.
Absolutely.
In what has been painted into this non-consensual relationship, even though like the beginning portions of it were very much painted vividly of consensual relationship. And as the weeks and the months have ticked by, because we're in the middle, almost, the first third of March is over. This picture of what their relationship has definitely mutated a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely changed as far as Was it consensual? Was it not? And like, there's been a lot left up for interpretation on that as we continue to follow this, as details continue to emerge. But I did find it very interesting though that they just kind of quietly added Brock back, and I hope, for his sake, that it wasn't him. But if it was, I hope that restitution has been paid and apologies have been made. And people make mistakes, man, and it doesn't mean that the man can't work. So if we've got to wait until the Royal Rumble for him to come back and just let the fire get put out a little bit, I mean, it is what it is.
SummerSlam, it is what it is. Like, oh my god! Like, by that point, we're gonna like, if he shows up at SummerSlam, people, the world, the roof's gonna blow off the place.
Yeah.
And maybe Cody wins and like The Rock and Roman are doing their own thing, and Brock shows up at SummerSlam. Holy shit. Crazy, right?
Yeah. Be awesome. What if he shows up at WrestleMania? Just fucking wrecks house.
Everybody's dead. Night one, actually, at the end of that tag match, everybody's dead. Everybody's like, they're like raising the hand of a corpse. Like, oh, you won, Cody. Good job, or whatever. Whomever wins, and we hear that like Brock Lesnar music show up, and we're like, holy shit! And like,
and then Paul Heyman joins Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Heyman like walks out with it. Like, there's no Heyman out there for the whole match, and then Heyman walks out with Brock. Brock's all shaven with his old Brock cut with the high and tight, and we're just like, oh my god, what's going? And Brock kills everybody, including The Rock.
Yeah,
we'll lose our shit, but that's all we'll talk about for like a year.
Just lay waste to the fucking top tier of the card. Fuck them.
That's all we'll talk about for a year. Like,
fuck them.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You're right. I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, but it'd be fun.
But if it did, like, could you like? Wrestling will be on a different level.
Well, didn't you know that wrestling's cool again because The Rock's back? Did you watch his 21-minute fucking Instagram promo?
Sure didn't.
I did. I watched the whole fucking thing.
Sorry.
You know what his problem is? He gets something over, right? Like, and he's done this with Seth Rollins the past 2 weeks. Called him the walking clown emoji, and then he repeated it 6 more times. It's like, hey, we got it the first time, pal.
He beats it to death.
Reel it in, okay? You're on to something here. Reel it in, all right? We heard it the first time. You need to repeat yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? Just chill. Just fucking chill. Okay? Just fucking chill. John Cena, looking rather
man looks good.
Invisible. Yeah. Last night at the Oscars.
Good. Man looks good.
I mean, he's in, what is he, 45, 46?
Yeah, in phenomenal shape. Phenomenal shape.
What courage to do that, though, right? Like, I mean, that's at the same point in time, you fucking look good whenever you agree to do some shit like that on a world stage like the Oscars. And I'm glad that like something like that happened at the Oscars, and I'm glad that it was John Cena, because it kind of takes the seriousness of the edge off of there a little bit, right? That was a pretty cool moment, especially considering he was his interview from the Royal Rumble season got released on Chris Van Vliet's podcast network this past week. Phenomenal hour and 25 minutes. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it cover to cover. Enjoyed it cover to cover, and he's such a good interview. At one point in time, fucking somebody's assistant came in and did this. Right, and John Cena's like, "What? You telling me I got 5 minutes left? Is that what you're telling me right now?" He was like, "You set your timer." He goes, "I got the time on my watch. Don't worry about it." Right? And he's like, "Fuck out of here." This interview's over whenever I say this interview's over. And then he went on for like an additional 30 minutes, which was really cool. But I mean, they talked about a lot of shit. And one of the questions that I thought was funny, Chris had asked him, so which one of your world title reigns was your favorite? And he thought for a second, and he was like, you know what? My next one. So got the internet chattering. Is he going to get number 17? You think they'll do it?
I mean, truthfully, I'd love to see Cena versus Rock too. I mean, it doesn't have to go long. Give it 10 minutes at WrestleMania 42.
Yeah, I'm into it.
They could just have a segment. Maybe they punch each other a little bit. Rock gives Cena a rock bottom. He rolls away. Somebody pumps him up. Some other people fight the Rock for a little bit. Blah, 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 blah. Cena gives the Rock an attitude adjustment for whatever reason, and everybody gets their shit in. And I don't know. Whatever. Parade those guys out there as much as they want. Give them 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. Both those guys are awesome. Like Hulk Hogan's done it. Ric Flair's done it for decades. Give them guys 15, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. That draws eyeballs. Those are good guys. Those are good dudes. And,
I don't know. I thought it was a really good interview, and I think.
Speaking of which, did you watch Ricky Stenicki?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I do
want
to sit down and watch it.
Buddy, hilarious. Watch it. You're gonna love it. I loved it. Loved it. We watched it on Friday. Loved it. I laughed so hard. It's so funny. It's so good. John Cena it's his best role. It's like this and Peacekeeper. Like it's he is a true comedian, and his comedic work and his comedic timing is unbelievable. Watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard nothing but great things about it. I just need to sit down and watch it.
Hilarious. Watch it with the wife. She'll love it too. Hilarious.
Yeah, well.
Put the kids to bed, lock the door, chain them. Watch it. Hilarious.
So, I know that I don't generally look to Vince Russo or his podcast or his YouTube show. But I fell down a rabbit hole last night at like 3:15 in the morning, and Al Snow was on Vince Russo's YouTube show this past week.
Oh no!
Like Thursday.
Oh no!
Not even been Friday. Al Snow said, and I quote, "A performer will die in an AEW ring."
Oof.
And then proceeded to show examples on screen of very dangerous spots.
How many were Vikingo?
One, but he focused pretty heavy on the spot in Dynamite's main event on Wednesday between Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay, which was a botched reverse superplex in the corner, which looked really bad on TV, in an otherwise phenomenal fucking work rate match. So I think that you need to at least watch that match, because that match was fucking awesome. But this, real scary. So Kyle Fletcher was sitting in the corner, and his feet, like his ass was on the top rope, his feet were on the middle rope. Like when you're sitting in the fucking, and Ospreay was standing on the bottom rope, and they were in a suplex position. Right? In the corner. So you're being led to believe that this is going to be a low superplex, off the bottom rope, whatever. Just no. Kyle Fletcher lifts Will Ospreay from the top leverage, which is harder.
Yeah.
And lifts him up into a suplex, into the suplex position, and proceeds to do a diving suplex off that essentially looked like a brain buster, because it fucking was. Osprey's legs hit the fucking top rope and whiplashed him head first, careened him head first into the fucking canvas. Um, it was fucking god awful ugly. Will Ospreay was lucky to have walked away from that, if I'm being wholeheartedly honest with you. Um, it looked really bad on TV. Everybody was okay, so like they kind of glossed over it, and how they shot it when Kyle Fletcher lifted him up from the top position, they switched to the overhead camera around the back because it was impressive to see that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So they switched to that, and then you didn't see the back half, but they kind of went to it, then immediately came back, but they isolated that snippet. Not good. Not good. Match was awesome, though. I will say that. It just not good. I was unaware that it was that bad. Then he ran down something that happened with Orange Cassidy getting whiplashed off the top ropes at Revolution. Again,
I saw that. That was, I mean, it's just a garbage bump and the succession of garbage bumps. But
so I bring that up because I know that you have a very strong opinion about AEW being an unsafe workplace, and obviously Al Snow is somebody that the wrestling community as a whole respects for his his ability and what he's done with OVW, and just his ability to want to help create the next the next crop of professional wrestlers. That's not going to look real good for AEW moving forward, that there's a clip like that out there.
no, and admittedly, that's one of like 100 clips, though, is it not?
I mean, I'm not talking about the botch. I'm talking about Al Snow saying
No, you're right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I understand. I get it. Okay. So as far as Al Snow is concerned, yeah, no, you're right. I don't know why Al Snow has to say it on the podcast of a guy who is like kind of on the outs, but at the same time, yeah, no, it's a bad clip. It's a bad look because especially like, okay, in the age where, Dark Side of the Ring is now what, 5-6 years old.
Yeah.
That's a clip that will resurface once this happens. Look, people have died in WWE rings before. Like let's not, let's call a spade. It happens. But when it happens in AEW, it's going to be a scandal because it's a very sort of at this moment in time, while the microscope is down on whether or not it's a safe working condition or not, AEW is the least safe working condition. So if and when it happens in an AEW, even if it's a complete, like, let's say it's a draws situation, right? Complete accident. Everybody's trying to be safe. It wasn't even like an unsafe bump. It's just something went wrong. Split second. Something that should have been a routine kind of bump went wrong. And, somebody's paralyzed, somebody dies, goes into a coma, whatever it is.
It was a back body drop or some shit, wasn't it?
It was a power bomb from the second rope.
Okay.
And there was something about, nobody's seen the clip, but something about like Draw's shirt was too loose and D'Lo couldn't get a grip or whatever. And it just didn't, or Draw's shirt tore or something like that. Something happened. And it was just, he landed wrong and just, and I mean, he lived another, 30 years. I mean, he died, last year? He was very
sick. Like, I think like Q4.
Yeah, but I mean, but still, like, I mean, it clearly cut his life short. And, but I mean, it was another 20 years or whatever, but still, that's not, you don't want that, right? It was a sad situation at the moment. And then we had 20 years to work through it. And, they all forgave each other and all was well. It was just a shit moment, and one shit moment. And, it could have happened 1,000 times. It happened once, but you know, it could be the same thing with AEW, but now this clip exists, right? Especially if it
Right.
happens in the next 24 months, whatever. Like they're playing with fire. Is basically I think what Al Snow's trying to say is they're
Yeah, I
playing
mean,
with fire.
he said something along the lines of, and I think this comment isn't verbatim, obviously, but like I never heard something on the internet that aligned with your way of thinking, as much as what Al Snow said last, whenever I was watching this on Russo's podcast. He said, these guys, what do they do? He was like, they're on TV once, maybe twice a month. He said that they don't have to worry about going from town to town and, you know, having a match and then getting in the car and driving down the road to do the next town. They can hang out for a week and then, maybe 2 weeks and then go
If
back
they're
to
in the
TV.
hospital, they just it's fine. Like
He's
it's
like,
not.
they don't have to worry about using their body because they're all being paid very, very well. And he said, this is very much in a indie way of thinking from the standpoint of, we're just going to go out here and we're just going to do high work rate, high spots, all risk, no reward because we can.
Yeah,
And
they don't have to work the next night,
yeah,
so I'm sure. So to put this in perspective, you've been to concerts, I've been to concerts where likely the lead singer is like, I have a day off tomorrow, so I'm going to scream as loud as I can. I want you to scream as loud as you. I was just a bear tooth. That's what they said to me. That's what they said to us. He's like, I have a day off tomorrow, so I can blow my voice out. Can you blow your voice out? I want to hear you as loud as I can. Right. So they have a week off. They have 4 days off, whatever. I can twist my ankle. Can you scream your lungs out for me to do a thing that maybe I'll die, maybe I'll twist my ankle. If I'm dead, I won't know. If I twist my ankle, I'll be fine by the next time I have to wrestle. And if I'm not, Tony Khan's going to pay all those bills too. And, they'll wheel me out in a wheelchair and I'll have an angle with that or whatever if you're Adam Cole. But, so I think that's really where we are with AEW is that it's like, they can have high risk and the same reward, regardless of whether they snap their ankle or they're ready to go on Friday.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. And I don't know, man. Like there's a lack of longevity thinking here. It is the best way.
Because you can't do it forever.
Right. And, like I absolutely love watching a high work rate match when it's done properly.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll circle back to Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay this past week on Dynamite. It was fantastic.
Yeah, but you only see Kyle Fletcher once every other month.
Yes, but I'm
sure he works other shows or whatever,
yeah.
But like he's not taking bumps like that. And if he took a bump like that, like Tony Khan's going to pay for everything, and either he's going to get way over, and it's going to be great, or he's going to maybe die, and that's not, well, he is not a whole. Whatever happens there, but at the same time, like I don't know, man. It's just. You're right. Somebody's going to take it too far. Maybe it's going to be Sammy Guevara, which will be like the saddest thing because he's got like a baby at home. But he seems to be the guy who's like, let me put the tallest ladder up in the middle of the ring, and then I'm going to jump out of the ring off that ladder onto metal and concrete. And at some point, he's not going to hit, or maybe he'll just do it enough to where he just can't walk anymore at like 42.
I mean, and then you got Darby Allin coming out and cutting a promo saying, hey, I'm getting ready to go train to climb Everest. I'll see you when I see you, if I see you. That just continues to be the problem with the other side, right? And it's like, I'm into work rate matches, and I enjoy a lot of what AEW is trying to accomplish. But they need to reel some of this in. Where they're just doing moves for the sake of doing moves. And Al Snow even said, he was like, at some point before this hit the ring, these two guys had a conversation about this, and they went, "Yeah, man, sounds great, let's do it." And what do you do with that? What do you do with that?
Somebody needs to say, no, don't do that. Honestly, that was a lot of the problem with the pay-per-view too, because by the time they got to the main event, like we had already watched like half a dozen people try to kill themselves. So yeah, Darby Allin's smashing through glass, but his blood was the first blood. It wasn't even like the third blood we'd seen of the night. And it's just like it's also a matter of like saving it for the big time, right? Wherein it's just like, oh, maybe we'll kill ourselves on television on Wednesday night in front of 700,000 people.
But I'm gonna
not
come.
Okay.
I'm gonna come to their defense though, because they've been doing a really good job at the middle of the show doing one of those like hardcore type matches for the AEW marks, right? But they've been very controlled. They've been very safe. And I don't see. Do you know what I'm saying? Like for me, that is so toned down right now.
I mean, a little bit, only because it was so over the top that like they couldn't keep enough talent healthy to be able to book anything.
So I don't know, man. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. There's just been a lot of examples where it could happen, and
I hope it doesn't. Obviously,
yeah,
like, I don't want to see. I don't want to watch anybody die. Like I watched the Owen Hart pay-per-view where Owen Hart passed away.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I'll never forget that, and it's not something I ever want to see again.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job keeping it off TV, but like just
They
those
did,
images,
still,
man.
we knew. We knew it was
yeah.
happening.
So, all right, pal. Well, I think there's only one piece of business left, huh? All right, pal. What was your match of the week?
It was actually Becky versus Liv Morgan from earlier tonight. We were a little bit late.
Again.
We were a little bit late. I did, but God, it was so good. I mean, okay, so here's the thing I love, and it's not been used to death, but what they both did in this match was they both hit their finishers, and one of them rolled out of the ring and like fell down on the floor and then got beat up on the floor. But like those were the only out of the ring spots, and I love that from a like very like, especially if you do it twice in a match, because it's a very like, okay, this is a great thought, but then also once you've done it once, it's like now you've given your opponent the thought of like, oh, if she hits her finisher, I just have to roll, kind of a thing. So it happened twice. And Liv looked great. They went 20-ish minutes through two commercial breaks. It was good start to finish. It was a great work rate match. We were talking about work rates a minute ago. Great work rate match, and everybody looked good. Everything went really well. Liv took Becky to the limit. Becky wins, and then Rhea walks out, and then Becky and Rhea cut a promo at each other. Great way to do this, and like. Liv told Rhea as she comes out, she screams at her, "I'm going to take everything away from you that you love." So I just the whole thing. It was a great piece of business, and I watched everything last week. It was the best piece of business I've seen in the last 10 days. So that's where we are.
Look forward to watching it later.
Very good shit. You'll love it.
My match of the week was a match that we were just fucking super critical about, and that was Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay on Dynamite.
I'm glad they're not dead.
I mean, the match was fucking phenomenal. Another famous Tony Khan Cold match, but like it was one of those matches that I think that that's what we're going to come to expect from the AEW, like from the Dynamite main event.
Because there just needs to be some reason for it to be a cold match.
I just think that they're going to just use that main event spot on Dynamite as their quote unquote Tony Khan's wet dream spot. Because they're doing a good job in the earlier segments the last few weeks. kind of building some stories and doing some stuff. So they have my attention.
Okay.
And I'm going to, you know what I mean? Fuck, dude, 3-4 weeks ago, I said, you know, I don't know what else to do for them except not watch. Because if I stop watching, then that means somebody else that's like me stopped watching, and they're going to see the ratings plummet, and they're going to be forced to make changes. And I feel like we might be on the precipice of that.
I feel like that's what just happened. It's still happening. I mean, hopefully the hype from this week. I haven't heard bad. I mean, other than the botch stuff, but I haven't heard bad things about this week's Dynamite. So we'll see. Let's see where the rest of the week goes. Maybe Friday will be an okay show. Maybe Saturday will be a good show, and then maybe we'll have another good show next week. Maybe the ratings will be back up. I hope that's the case. I don't want AEW to die, but they sure are trying hard.
Yeah, they'll get there. I believe that they'll get there.
Hopefully, I hope so.
So, all right, pal. Well, you know, I mean, 2024 is still the year without Derek. Check us out wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, so you can, you know, catch us on the go. Or if you're still here, hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate the hell out of you. Check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That's ONE. Yeah. If you're hanging out with us anytime, anywhere, thanks, man. It's pretty cool. With all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.